ドラゴンエイジベイルの守護者パート6。今回は次回以降のメインクエにつながる導入部となっているようで、会話イベントがメインになります。まず最初は瞑想室に行きます。ソラスと話すには心を無にして精神世界に入る必要があるので、瞑想室で瞑想に入る準備をします。クエスト目標に2を解けとありますが、これは主人公と縁がある装飾アイテムを設置する意味です。初期状態だと出自関係アイテム、戦闘訓練の本、バリックのヒゲ剃りが該当。最初の3つのアイテムのみ会話イベントが起きます。それ以降はアイテムを置いても特に反応しないです。瞑想室をプレイヤーの部屋としたいようだけど、ソラスと会話する以外で訪れることがないのが悲しい。ここで選択した内容はソラスとの会話に影響する。適当に選ぶと後で後悔します。
Varric tells such great stories. It's almost enough to make me think that this time, when I look in the mirror, I'll see a hero. But Varric's hurt, and the team needs me. So chin up, take a deep breath, and get the job done.
2つ目は出自関係アイテムですね。私はグレイ、ウォーデンを選択しているので、グリフィンのおもちゃが置けます。
I can hear that little girl thanking me for saving her village from Darkspawn. She said that since the Grey Wardens didn't have griffins anymore, I could have hers. If I hadn't been there, I'd never have met Varric, and never had to deal with the first warden complaining I ignored orders. Doesn't matter what the first warden thinks. There's a little girl alive today because I attacked instead of waiting for reinforcements.
タハ種族が人間なら同じですね。
A peddler gave me this after I saved his caravan from bandits. He told me nobles think of ruling like a game of chess, that each move determined what mark humanity will leave on the world. He had fancy silks from Olay, statuettes from the wilds down south. Oh, I could have listened to stories all night about places he'd been. Now I'm getting to see some of those places myself. A meditation upon the use of blades. Must have read this thing cover to cover a dozen times during weapons training. Oh, the number of times I banged my head against this book trying to make the concepts work. But that training has kept me alive so far. Right. That's better. Now, how do I connect to Solus? Just sleep or... Oh, relaxing. Maybe if I clear my mind...
Back so soon. It must have been worse than I had thought.
Hello, Dreadwolf.
Ah, but perhaps I am mistaken. You may be here to correct me, to tell me that my concerns were unfounded. Perhaps nothing escaped as you stopped me from... what was it? Covering the world with demons?
As you clearly already knew, something did escape. Elganon and Gillenane, blighted.
Thank you for letting me know.
You'll recall I also said that you don't get to sit back and look smug.
What else could I be doing?
I need to know what the gods are planning.
You are asking for knowledge no mortal in this world is privy to. If I am to share it with you, I need to know what makes you the right person to lead the fight against Elganon and Gillenane.
Someone has to do something. I may not be the right person for this job, but I'm the only one left.
So your call to action is that any attempt is better than none?
Back in the Grey Wardens, I was with a group of recruits outside this village, dealing with a Darkspawn incursion. Our orders were to wait for reinforcements, but we knew that by the time they arrived, everyone in that village would be dead.
So you led your team of recruits in any way, collapsing the tunnel and saving the village.
How do you know that?
You helped Varric pursue me for the better part of a year. It would have been foolish not to learn about who was hunting me.
Then you know that if someone has to make a call, I'll do it.
I suppose I was not so different when I started.
Started what?
My rebellion against the Evanuris. The elven gods, as you call them. They wish to reclaim their dominion over this world. To accomplish that, they will need two things. First, the Blight. What exists in this world is a bare fragment of its power. The rest is imprisoned, until they release it.
I don't understand. Elganon and Gillinane were elves like you, right? Why would they want to blight the world?
It is my fault. As the Dread Wolf, I was a thorn in their side. When my efforts weakened their grasp on the elven people, they grew frustrated, then desperate.
And turned to the Blight.
Once the corruption took hold of them, they were blind to its horror. It was just another source of power for them. Now they would blight the world without hesitation, and call us backward and foolish for opposing them.
The rest of the Blight is imprisoned? There's more than what's in the world already?
Yes. Centuries ago, the Magisters of Tevinter opened my prison. A tiny fragment of the Blight escaped. That fragment grew beneath the earth, and led to the Blights that have swept across the world. However terrible the Blight is now, it is a mere fraction of what we will see if its full power is unleashed.
The Blight didn't escape with the gods?
Elganon and Gillinane escaped largely empty-handed, fortunately. Most of the Blight is still trapped in the prison I created ages ago.
So what we saw at the village, that's them not at full strength?
Correct.
What would they need to do to free the Blight? And how do we stop them from doing it?
They will need to pierce the veil to reach the Blight's prison. My Lyrium dagger is one of the few artifacts capable of doing so.
We've already recovered it from the ritual site.
Excellent. Then they will have to make their own. That will give you time.
You said the gods needed two things, and the Blight is the first? What's the second?
Followers. They have called themselves gods. And what is a god without worshippers to sing their praises?
You think they want the elves back? I don't think the elven people will bend a knee to blighted, murderous monsters.
Agreed. Elganon and Gillinane care little for the elves. They will find worshippers among those hungry for power. Tyrants and bullies. The cruel and the corrupt, who fear their own vulnerability and seize any chance to feel strong. If you hunt them, they will lead you to Elganon and Gillinane.
Thank you. I'll go poke at the cruel and corrupt, and we'll see what we find.
The Veravas, the lighthouse Soluvian, can take you anywhere, if you master its secrets. Have you done so?
Not yet, but we've got one of the Veil Jumpers working on it. She'll get it sorted, and we'll see how it goes.
Yes. I suppose we will. And when you speak with Varric, please tell him that I regret what happened.
神々は信奉者を欲しているから彼らを崇め宗人や組織を見つけるとおのずと神に近づくと言われました。とりあえず神々の計画について分かったことをバリックに伝えましょう。
So Solus told the truth about the gods.
You heard? It's bad, Varric. If you'd seen Demeter's crossing.
The team needs to act fast. And it can't do that with me leading from a bed. You've got to take point on this.
I can't do what you do. I've barely been holding it together in the short time you've been out.
You don't need to do what I do. You just need to get it done. Rook, when I put this team together, what did I look for? A detective to find the Dreadwolf, and a scout to get us the lay of the land. Exactly the people he'd expect me to recruit. Disciplined, predictable. And then there's you. Remember when we first met, kid? I watched you lead a few misfit recruits and push back one of the biggest darkspawn hordes I've ever seen.
Just needed to find the right strategy.
And no other warden found it. You stopped that horde. Had to drop a town hall on it, but you've got a knack, kid.
For what?
Finding a way through the wildest shit I've ever seen. With a plan that no one expects. On the best day of his life, Solus wouldn't see you coming, Rook. And don't worry. I'll still be here to talk if you need me.
There is something. Demeter's Crossing was awful. While we were there, we found one survivor, the mayor.
You sent him to the wardens, right?
Not everyone was happy about my decision. We're just starting out and I'm already losing their trust.
The key to earning the team's trust isn't to only make decisions everyone agrees with. It's showing the team that they can tell you whatever's on their mind, even if they think you're full of crap. And know you'll listen.
When I took over at the ritual site, I had to make a call on who came with me to knock over that statue. It was the first decision I made leading this team, and Nev got hurt because of it.
You made a decision with the best information you had. Sometimes you do that, and people end up hurt. Or worse.
What would you have done?
What would I have done? Probably gotten myself killed and failed to stop the ritual if you hadn't stepped in. A good leader isn't someone who never makes mistakes. It's someone who admits when they make one. That's how you earn their trust.
I'll let you get some rest.
You're gonna be fine, Rook. Hey, one last thing before you go. I've been racking my brain thinking of contacts who might help us with these gods.
You got any ideas?
Nothing. But being a leader isn't about having all the answers yourself. It's about knowing who does. Nev has connections to a whole world that Harding and I barely know. Might be worth talking to her.
Will do. Thanks, Varric.
Anytime.
バリックとハーディングは南セダスで活動していた関係で今いる場所の政治状況や土地勘はありません。味方の探偵ナーブはテベンターの反乱軍に所属する探偵ですし、彼女なら北セダスにあるテベンターや他の地域について詳しいみたい。
Hey, Nev. Hi, Wisps.
Yeah, they're still here, but you're here for leads. You want allies to go after the gods? I've got places to look, if we can get anywhere but Arlathan.
Balara's working on it. What have you got?
Let's start with the angles we know. The gods are corrupt magic personified. Who do we hire to fight that? First, the Antivan Crows.
You want to fight gods with assassins?
Not just any assassin, their most feared mage killer, the Demon of Virantium.
Working with a feared mage killer doesn't bother you?
If he doesn't have a contract out on me, it's not a problem.
Well, I'm sold. Now we charm the crows.
Fingers crossed. The demon got his nickname taking out blood mages and Venatori. From everything I've learned, the reputation was earned. I never uncovered his real name, and there's been fewer stories the last few years, but the crows would know. I can set a meeting with their bosses.
This is great. Thanks, Nev.
It's what I'm here for.
You said the crows were first. What's next?
A trip home.
Back to Minrathous.
Capital city and heart of Tevinter. An empire of mages that knows a thing or two about corrupt magic.
Tevinter Authority...
Won't help and can't be trusted, which is why we talk to the Shadow Dragons. They're a resistance group that fights slavers, blood magic, and imperial corruption. They've got eyes and ears everywhere, including mine. If the gods enter the Empire, we might get something. Besides, I owe them an update.
These people sound great. I mean, if they're anything like you.
No one's as good as they seem. But they try.
So, we talked to the crows in Antiva and the Shadow Dragons in Minrathous.
I wouldn't mind checking in on my neighborhood either, if Balara's ready for us.
Yeah. Should check how things are going.
ナーブから神々の手がかりを知りそうな組織と役立ちそうな人材について教えてもらいました。ミンソーラスが手がかり、トレビソに仲間候補魔同士殺しがいるそう。今は戦力が欲しいので、トレビソ、ミンソーラスのドックタウンの順で進行していきます。てな感じで、今回は終わります。次回は魔導士殺しを求めて自由交易都市アンティバに向かいます。